I welcome everyone to my channel. And again, stories from life. A novel that will change your life. Martha Shields' right pointing arrow, hope for happiness. Maybe you will take your family and come to us together? Claire stood there in disbelief. Do you want to buy me? Hank asked suspiciously. Hell, no, Jake replied calmly. If you want to see the marriage certificate, I'll fax it to you today. I just thought that this way you could properly study me, or something. Plus, Claire misses her family. Claire's hand gripped his elbow, and her lips whispered silently, no. Do you have enough rooms in your fancy apartment? Hank asked. I thought it would be better to spend Thanksgiving at Bar Hanging 7, Jake said, ignoring his wife's soft gasp. There is enough room for everyone. Bar Hanging 7. What's next to Pony? Hank was clearly impressed by the news. Jake pushed away the phone Claire was trying to snatch from him. Do you know this ranch? But how? You have the most purebred bulls in the area. Mine are far from them. Well, we'll talk about bulls when we meet. So how? Will you come tomorrow or next week? Wait, I'll ask Alex. Jake was amused that Claire's determined brother was going to ask his wife's permission. He turned to Claire. She looked at him reproachfully. Why did you do that? She hissed furiously. I thought you loved your family, he replied. I love, only, just now? I hoped I had a little more time to prepare for their arrival. Jake kissed his wife on tight lips. Don't worry, my angel. I'll be with you. And this is your ranch. Why didn't you tell me about him? Before Jake could answer, Hank went back to the phone. Alex says we'll go, although then I'll have to find a couple more workers for the weekend. In fact, she is delighted with the idea. Hank laughed. She also asked if Claire was going to cook the turkey. Not understanding the joke, Jake turned to Claire. Alex asks if you are going to cook the turkey. Claire's blue eyes narrowed. Ha, 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 realizing that this was some kind of family joke. Jake replied to Hank, apparently not. Hank laughed. At least I understood that you didn't marry my sister because of her culinary skills. I will send a plane for you on Wednesday. I hope he can land at Jackson Hole Airport, it's not far from you. Suitable. Just this. Neither you nor Claire have answered my questions yet. Questions can wait until the meeting. They can. Here Alex wants to talk to Claire. Jake gave the phone to his wife. She grabbed it. What? Oh, hi Alex. You can stop this. She sighed heavily. Okay, I know, good. Bye. She hung up and turned to Jake. Are you out of your mind? What did your daughter-in-law say to you? He asked. Claire gave Jake a frown. She promised to send me a list of products to buy. Don't try to change the subject. How dare you invite my family? Yes, even on the ranch. By the way, why didn't I know you had a ranch until now? Is that the whole problem? I suggested going to the ranch because they were used to the ranch and would be more comfortable there. If you think it's better to stay in the city, let's stay in my penthouse. She stared at him intently, as if trying to determine if he was telling the truth. I don't want them to come at all. Sooner or later you will meet them. Sooner or later you will meet them. Think about it, you have a whole week to prepare. If not for me, your brother would have rushed here tomorrow. Yes, but he would only be here for a few hours. Or, at the very least, sleep over. And now they will spend 5 whole days here. She raised her hands to the sky. And in 5 days they will have time to understand very well that our marriage is a fiction. Jake narrowed his eyes. Our marriage is as real as any other. You know very well what I mean. They will understand that we do not love each other. Jake pulled Claire towards him. You told your brother that you love me. I heard. Her face contorted in pain. She averted her eyes. What should I have said? They would never understand what a marriage of convenience is. They got married for love. Jake made her raise her head and said sharply, So you lied? Claire gazed long and hard into his face. What do you want me to say? What love you? I won't say this. I already said I don't want to fall in love. Jake grew irritated. Damn it. Claire, what else can I do? Love me. How can you not understand? Jake turned to the window. I understand, Claire said quietly. Her voice trembled. You don't believe in love. But it doesn't make it any easier for me. Then call and tell them not to come, Jake snapped. Late. Alex is already on fire with the idea of cooking Thanksgiving dinner for you. In addition, she probably managed to tell the children about this news. Jake rubbed his neck, trying to think of a way out. But unsuccessfully. What should I do? Don't know. And if we? No, it won't help. What? She looked at him, thinking, then shook her head. No, you won't. What? Pretend. Are you saying that we should pretend to be in love? She shook her head again. I told you it wouldn't work. Get it? She looked at him doubtfully. Jake walked over to her and took her hands. But how? Jake did not want to talk about the fact that he was going to study this issue in detail and scientifically, raising the necessary literature. When a person loves, he feels desire, right? Claire nodded. Then half of the question is already settled. He gently touched her lips. Never have I wanted any woman as much as I have wanted you. She hugged him and pressed her face against his chest. Oh, Jake, what game are you and I playing? You just don't know my family. He kissed her forehead. They already think we love each other. So, they will not try to find something wrong. People always try to see what they want to see. I hope you're right, Claire sighed. Hearing footsteps in the corridor, Jake hurriedly tucked the book under his pillow and unfolded the newspaper on his lap. Mrs. Sanchez poked her head through the door. We're going home, Mr. Anderson. Till tomorrow. Goodbye, Mrs. Sanchez. When the housekeeper left, Jake tossed the newspaper aside and picked up his book again. 21 Steps in a Love Relationship. Huge help. Jake got up and put the book back in the drawer where he kept the things Claire wasn't supposed to see. There were already everything you wanted to know about love but were afraid to ask. Zen and the Art of Love and other such waste paper. He needed specific answers, specific advice on how to behave, what to buy, what to say, where to go with her. According to all these experts, love is a pretty complicated thing. Give yourself as a whole, advised books. Give your feelings, honestly and generously, without hiding. And demand the same in return. Jake walked away from the table and looked out the window. At the city lights spreading below. He had never opened his feelings to anyone before. Even Alan. Can he trust Claire? How to at least start a similar conversation? And will she be interested in it? Jake rubbed his face with his hands. He must gather strength and try. Otherwise, she will never love him, and he wanted her love more than anything else. Is this a ranch? Claire exclaimed when they circled the last turn and a white two-story house grew out of the ground in front of them. He stood on a hill next to a fast river. On each side there was an entrance with a green canopy, and a turret towered on the roof. 4 brick fireplaces surrounded her. Do not you like it? Jake easily led a jeep on the gravel of the road. I just expected something else. More modern. This house is so old. Yes, he is 97 years old, Jake said proudly. It was built by my Prada strap. Claire frowned. If his ancestors lived here, it is not surprising that Jake reminded her of Hank. He was a hat, having grown up on the ranch. Only now dressed in a suit from Armani. And all his thoughts are about money, and not about bulls, like Hank. Lord, what did she do? No, she refuses to believe. She could not go out for a cowboy. Or could you? The jeep slowed down half a mile from the house, and a delightful look opened in front of Claire. That's where it all started. Claire hardly remembered what was about. What began here? Pony investments. Alan and I needed to do something in order to save our ranch from bankruptcy. We thwarted a decent jackpot in the first investment, because we invested in it all the money received in the year from the sale of livestock. If it was not necessary to finish the phrase. The same thing almost happened to their family ranch in Wyoming. Only the hard work of her brothers, ingenuity and, most importantly, the radio changes saved the garden. She did not like undisguised pride in Jake's voice. Not at all. If he experiences such sentimental feelings for the ranch, this is a bad sign. Hank also loves the garden, exactly. I thought that your ranch was just another investment, and she did not suspect that it means so much for you. Jake looked at her in surprise. This is the most important part of my possessions. Why do you think I still needed the heir? To whom to leave the money? Yes, to hell with money. Jake circled the whole landscape with his hand. This land belonged to the Anderson for about 100 years. I don't want the state to go to her. It seemed to me that I hoped it to you. When Alan died, I inherited his ranch. Because he did not find time to marry. And I do not want the same thing to happen to the bar-hanging 7. No, you didn't explain anything to me, Claire muttered. Meanwhile, Jake drove up to the house, and they entered the hall. While Jake showed her a house, Claire felt that she was more and more covered by nostalgia for her native garden. And who is looking after the house? Asked Claire when they went around 6 bedrooms on the 2nd floor. It doesn't seem that you spend a lot of time here. Yes, I would like to be here more often, Jake said. Diana, Ray's wife, removes here once a week. He already managed to tell Claire about the ranch workers. Ray Cooper has been a manager here since Eli Anderson died. And who cooks you? I myself mainly. Or eat with the employees. Diana also cooks for them. Jake smiled broadly. To be continued. If you liked the video, subscribe to my channel and press the bell to nothing don't miss.